Hello and welcome to episode 86 of the DX Mentor, a discussion with Otis, Nancy Papa 4 Golf, regarding the KP5 stroke NP3VI Desecheo DXpedition. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. We have a back catalog covering many aspects of DX in both podcast and YouTube format. Please check us out. If you like what you find, please subscribe to always be notified about upcoming episodes. We received an email from Larry, Kilo Sierra 9 Juliet. Quote, Joe, I know about how you've been on 60 meters since day one. I listened to you on the DX Mentor podcast. I'm doing what I can to grab a few more entities on the band. I have 96 confirmed and 103 worked, almost enough for the DXCC 60 meter award. I already have the WAS 60 meter award on my wall. End quote. Well, good luck, Larry. Congratulations on this achievement, and keep us in the loop as to your progress, and we can celebrate your 60-meter DXCC together. DK5 ONV sent this along, quote, Hello, Bill. Thanks for the weekly update and the great work you are all doing all the time. Have a prosperous 2026 and stay healthy. 7 threes from Uncle Gunter across the pond. And we appreciate the comments from everyone. And yes, we do have every Saturday morning this week in DX that we drop at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Eastern on the YouTube channel. So check it out. If you have a comment or a question, please drop me a note at thedxmentor@gmail.com. Joe and I have done 85 episodes, but we have never had someone on a podcast during a DXpedition. Tonight we have Otis, Nancy Papa 4 Golf, who is the team lead for the Desecheo DXpedition. He will give us an update on Desecheo, what they're doing, and how they are doing it. We will also join Otis as he logs some QSOs at the end and also gives us a glimpse as to what the console looks like from his end. It was really, really interesting. 75% of this episode is good for the podcast feed. However, the last 25% is very video driven. We did our best to describe what we were seeing, but sometimes you can't beat the video. You may want to check out the YouTube version, the last portion, just to get the full effect and the full understanding. But let's get started. Well, good evening and welcome to the latest edition of the DX Mentor. And Joe and I are as excited as can be. And I know I say that every week, but this week we're really excited because we're doing something we've never done before. We're breaking into an ongoing DXpedition and find out how they're doing and what they're doing and all about it. So we've got Joe, of course, W8GEX, and we have Otis, NP4 Golf. Joe, if you want to kick us off and turn it over to Otis, and then Otis, just kind of give us some idea how you got involved in ham radio in general, and then I'll jump into the questions. So go ahead, Joe.
Sure. Well, thanks for the invite and thanks for showing up tonight, Otis. We're really looking forward to this podcast. I got started when I was a teenager and got hooked on DXing when I was on 6 meters in my early days, and then finally got into after being hooked on DXing. I finally have been on 62 DXpeditions, but being an old fart, I sort of had to give it up because it's hard work and I just can't keep up with all these young guys anymore. So, Otis, how did you get started in ham radio?
Well, yeah, thank you for the question, Joe, and thank you, Bill, also for the invite. I'm very happy to be here. So I got my radio ticket when I was 16, and my first Dayton was 99, and I was roaming around Hara Arena just trying to figure out for myself. And then, but when I went to my New York City when I was studying for my orthodontic training, that's when I really was excited about it. So I was able to go all those 3 years to Dayton, and I remember sitting at the DX talks and watching these people go to these awesome places and I'm saying to myself, you know what, someday I want to be there and I want to be able to go to trips like that. So it kind of the bug bit me right there. And then I changed my call from NP3JG to NP4G. I got upgraded to extra. And then I moved back home in 2008. And from there, I put a little wire. Finally had some spare time and some money, and I was finally working. And then I started calling the X one day, and pileup came in and started having fun. And then actually, Desecheo was my first expedition I really worked. I was getting into CW good enough so that I could pick up my call on a pileup, and I was able to work them on CW for my first expedition. So that was kind of like a thrilling.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
hooked ever since. So, and
yeah,
actually, I think my I've been doing like little islands and stuff like that, but I think the best day was when Kenneth LA7GIA he invites me to Bouvet, and it's a cool story. I'll tell you. I'm
Please.
at home. It's Christmas time. We're chilling. Nothing going on. Work is done. And I get a text. And it's like if I get a text from you, Bill, and it says, "Hey, Otis, how's work?" And I'm like, you don't text people like that. You just go, "Hey, Bill, what time is dinner?" "Hey, Bill, this station's in the air." You go straight to the point. And I'm like, yeah, life's fine. I'm having a great time. Here on my watching the sun, beautiful day out. And he's like, "How would you like to go to Bouvet?" And then he's like, it's like, it's this much amount, this much of time. And I'm like, okay, okay, let me put him on the phone. Okay, how you doing this again? And then he says, well, we spent an hour, and he goes through the process. Hey, we got a plan for this. He explains to me the whole thing, and just think about it, take some time. And I'm like, well, I appreciate it. And I think when he announced, I told him, keep me on like, stand by if you need somebody. I really wasn't seriously thinking that he would actually call me after that, but he did. And then this is the cool part. So I'm home, I'm thinking about it, and I just finished reading a book that's called Die with Zero. I don't know if any of you have ever read it. So it's
No.
cool. It basically says if you die today and you leave $1 million in the bank, it means you worked for that $1 million that you did not get to enjoy. So the goal in life would be to basically die with zero. It means that every effort you put into your life, you enjoyed absolutely everything from it. So I'm reading that book, and it's kind of like, going over my mind, and I'm like, I'm 41 then, and I'm healthy enough. My kids are growing enough. Time, I can make time. Money, we figure it out. It's now or never. So I go to my kids first, and I said, my daughter, "Hey, sweetie, they invited me to Antarctica. What do you say?" She's like, "Oh, Daddy, go for it."
Yeah.
Yeah, then my son, who was probably about 17 at the time, same thing. And then comes the wife. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
So I'm one dinner, I'm nice dinner set up, some champagne to lubricate the situation. And I said, "Honey, I got this invitation. I'm seriously considering it." "Oh, what do you mean? So long." And then she never said yes, but she never said no either.
Yeah. Oh,
So
good.
so yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And I started prepping for it, and it's kind of hard to train for cold weather here in the Caribbean. So we went up to Svalbard for kind of test the gear out a little bit, and I met the guys over there. I left my bag and I took cold showers for about a year, just trying to get myself used to it. And then time came in, and we got everything set up, and we went. So it was 54 days I was gone. And that was a thrill of a lifetime. And then after that, it was like, you know what? I've seen the way things are done and organized. And I'm like, I think I could do this kind of stuff. So I'm like, where do we go next?
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
going. So with the next one was when we came back, I'm talking with AB5EB, and he's a IOTA guy. And then he's like, "Oh, Marco is from Chile. Let's do Juan Fernandez." And that one is like, "Okay, we'll help him out." I speak Spanish, so I could probably be useful on that trip. And then when we were working on that trip, unfortunately, Marco passed away like
Right.
suddenly. We're like talking one day. We always used to talk around lunchtime. So it was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and then okay, we'll follow up next day. And next day we get a text from one of the other teammates. He passed away. So, and then we're like, all right, that's what do you want to do? You want to call it quits, or you want to actually make it and make sure Marco's last expedition goes through? And we said, let's do it, and we pulled it off. So that was a great trip too. So, and that's it, man. I've been hooked up. I mean, and then from there, Indexa, Bob N2O called me one day, can you help with Indexa? I was like, okay, sure. And now I'm president of Indexa after a couple of years. So
Yeah.
so it's like part of what I learned is like never say never when you get an invitation about DX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go, man.
Yeah.
So Bob's good at that. He got you. Thought you were
Yeah.
joining, and then you're president. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
you
right.
know,
No, he called me one day. It was funny because like usually we text, and he's like, "You know what? I really want to talk to you." Okay, so get some time. I called. What do you think about this? And he's trying to like test the waters, and then it's like, how do you think? My term's coming up. I think you'll be a good candidate for president. I'm like, okay, sure. Let's do it.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it'll be fun. I think I've been there for like 3 or 4 years now, so I got a few more years there on my term.
well,
So I'm
Yeah.
Otis, I,
enjoying it.
I wasn't going
Yeah.
to say anything, but my term's coming up next year at the Southwest Ohio DX Association. So if you're interested, I think you'd be a perfect candidate.
Do I
Yeah.
have to do I have to
Yeah.
live in Ohio or
No, you don't have to
I don't,
live here. No, just virtually check into the meeting. So
And it's a big paying job,
it's a
Otis.
big paying
it's
job.
a big pay job.
So,
Yeah.
you bring up a great point because one of the things that Joe and I try to stress is from 99% of the world's viewpoint, a DXpedition starts on the 21st and ends on the 28th. I didn't get them in the log. I did get them in the log. I only got them on 30 meters. When
Yeah.
are they going back? Blah, blah, blah. But you said 54 days. And I know Joe's
Yeah.
been at sea for weeks and then he's there for 2 weeks and he's at weeks again. I mean, and then the commitment, and now you've got to get back. You've got a lot of stuff to catch up on. You miss the family and everything. And it's a heck of a commitment.
Oh yeah. It's very hard, and it
Yeah.
was hard for the family. I mean, trying to leave stuff organized, and my wife says that she felt like she was married to a military person. I mean, that's how she felt. And on her way to Bouvet, we only had the little InReach Garmin device, so no Starlink, none of that. And it was literally like one text a day we each got. And I told my wife, text in Spanish because nobody else speaks Spanish. They'll know it's for me. So, we said, hey, honey, I'm okay. They're predicting bad weather for tomorrow. We'll check in tomorrow. And then she's like, nothing else. And then she knows that we're going through a storm or whatever. And then the next day, 24 hours later, oh, she gets a text from me. And it's not like you text and they get it immediately. It's like, there's like a couple minute delay on it. So it's
Yeah.
not like you can have like a real conversation there.
Yeah.
So it was tough for her. And
Yeah.
then when we got to actually I tell you, when we got to Bouvet, we're supposed to get there like 3 or 4 in the morning. And our wake up call was for 4 a.m. Okay, so I'm sleeping. We'll try to go to bed early, get some rest. And then 3 in the morning, Ken walks into our room. It's like, Otis, wake up. What do you mean? We got Starlink. What do you mean? Yes, it's working. So I knew it was a good thing because, I'll catch up. But the bad is that I'm not going to go back to sleep. So
Right.
I get my phone out, connect, and I got like, 2 weeks worth of stuff. I call the wife, I text her, hey, honey, we got Starlink, we're going to be fine. And then it was like just catching up with stuff. I mean, even that when as we're like getting ready to start that day, the guide, he just tell, hey, you have to disconnect that thing because everybody's so distracted. I mean, we gotta do our thing. So it
Wow.
was quite an adventure.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet Ken sometime because he seems to be the most singly focused person I've ever heard of.
He has management skills that are outstanding, attention to detail. I mean, we packed, you know, tons of gear in that little ship, and he could tell you exactly where every single item was in which bag, in which color, in which item number. I mean,
Really?
yeah, it was very, very attention to detail. When we got to Falklands, we opened up the container, we basically laid it out on the ground, and we went by list, item number one, our first boat trip is going to have this, the second one's going to have these other items. Because that's the way in these type of expeditions, to a weird place like this, you don't know if you're able to make 6 runs. You
Right.
don't know if you're able to make 4 runs. So you have to make sure that you have enough at least to be able to, maintain an operation.
Sure.
So it was very,
Wow.
very, yeah.
He's a guy after your own heart, Joe. Lists and details and
Yeah. Well, when you do these D expeditions, somebody has to be very detailed orientated.
Yep.
The whole crew doesn't, but certainly the leader should be.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
last thing you'd want to do is show up in the South Pacific without barrel connectors, right?
There you
That's
go.
right.
You know what? This cable's kind of short. You have a
Yeah.
barrel somewhere? Yeah, I have one right
Well,
here.
Joe ran into that.
That happened to me on Midway.
There you go. What'd you
Yeah.
do? How'd you fix it?
Well, that's a good question. So we had a chartered flight out to the island, and it held 10 people, but we had 12 operators.
Okay.
So two of them stayed back and brought the flight the next morning. So when we get out there, Greenbaum was there, and we're out there putting everything together and all the coax. And where's the PL or the
Barrel.
SOP? No, the barrel connectors, and we could not find them. So then we called back on the phone to Honolulu and told these two guys to go to every Radio Shack in town and buy every barrel connector that they had. So they did. They came back with a bag full of them, which
Okay.
was good because we need. I don't know what we would have had to solder them together. I guess, Otis.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What else would
No,
you do?
so a barrel connector is always on my checklist. You never know when you're going to use them, but they come in
Oh,
handy sometimes.
you got to have them. Yes, sir.
Well,
Absolutely.
what we want to focus on, of course, is Desecheo. So I'm going to read your first press release,
Yes.
and that'll get us started here. So I'm gonna be a little rude and look away here, but it says, "quote," and I'm going to say, what is the Island Amateur Radio Club? Is it the VKs?
Vieques, yeah, Vieques
Okay,
Island.
Vieques. In collaboration with the Vieques Island Amateur Radio Club, which is NP3 Victor Ida, and the Manana DX Foundation, we are proud to announce a landmark DXpedition to Desecheo Island, KP5, currently ranked as the 14th most wanted DXCC entity worldwide. Located approximately 13 miles off the west coast of Puerto Rico, Desecheo Island has not been activated since 2009. The operation represents the first Puerto Rican-led DXpedition to Desecheo in 48 years, following the historic KP4 AM/D activation in 1978. To ensure continuous global on-the-air presence, two self-sustained remote deployable units, or RDUs, provided by the Manana DX Foundation will be deployed on the island. These stations will operate 24 hours a day for 30 consecutive days, utilizing state-of-the-art remote operating infrastructure from remote ham radio. The primary mission of this DXpedition is to provide an all-time new one to as many amateur radio operators worldwide as possible. Operators from Puerto Rico and the international locations will participate in to maximize coverage, band availability, and global accessibility. So well done. That was the press release. So I got a number of questions to throw out to you.
Go for it.
How did you all come around and say, I think it's about time we activate Desecheo?
Well, it's been on my mind for a while. Back in 2017, I had the opportunity to meet the Fish and Wildlife director at the time. And, we went there, we met, nothing really happened, and then we had the Hurricane Maria, so, everything went down. So when I came back from Bouvet, I went over to Vieques. Vieques Island is an island off on the east coast of Puerto Rico. And I've known these guys for a while, and we talked to them, and one of the guys says he's KP3DR. He just retired. He used to work for the EPA cleaning Vieques, from all the mines and stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, I know this Desecheo. I've been there for work, and And he's like, "Well, how do we do this?" And he's like, "Well, let's figure out." So it comes to be that there was a new director, and then he knew about her, and we couple emails exchanged, and I sent her an email. Then we met, gave her a, asked her about how do we do an expedition, and just coming up from Juan Fernandez, and she said, "Well, we'll do the process." And then in all this fear, a very good friend of ours, Lou N2TU, who sadly passed away recently. So Lou, I'm like Lou, how do you manage yourself through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife system? And every single thing that he said was exactly on point. You're gonna
Really?
meet with them, you're gonna ask them this, you're gonna listen, and then it went to a point where after we sent the first request, they were thinking of a big operation like K5D, which was 2 weeks, a hotel, a whole city was established in Desecheo. And the situation changed because in 2017 they finally declared the island free of invasive species. So they've been spending millions of dollars on equipment and traps, and there's no more rats, there's no more shrubs, no more stuff like that. So the birds, the endangered species, they're finally nesting again. So they have this going process. They don't want to spoil that with us accidentally bringing some pest or something.
Right.
So they were really strict about it. And we sat down and I asked the lady, well, what would be a low impact operation? And she said, well, something where nobody sleeps here, nobody cooks here, nobody does their things here, and that's it. And I'm like, well, if we do that, would that be a possibility? And she said, yeah, that could be a possibility. And I'm like, well, we have the technology now. Let's work on it. So a good friend of mine, HI3R, we've been to Chile together, and he's been working on remote stuff. And I said, I think we have a good place to test your equipment. And he said, all right. I'm like, bring it up to speed. And then we worked out a proposal. We sent it to them. They liked it, back to regional, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then finally they agreed to it in like September timeframe. So our goal was to go like October or November, but due to the government shutdown, we had to delay it. And then, but fortunately, after they did the whole process, they said, we finally got the permits and everything, and then we announced. So the cool part is that we announced this on Christmas Day. This was a gift for everybody. That was actually Glenn Johnson's idea when we were working the Northern California grant. And he said, why don't you make it a Christmas party for everybody? And we did. And we released right there, and it's been great. And the thing is, like, it's, we announced, and 3 weeks later, we're in the air. I mean, it's not like
Wow.
this is an expedition, from a year from now or nothing like that.
Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
So one of the things I'm curious about is what makes Desecheo qualify as its own entity? I mean, it's only, so many miles. Is it because it's managed by, Fish and Wildlife
Yep.
or
Yep, that's exactly right. Because it's managed by Fish and Wildlife. It's not, politically part of Puerto Rico in that sense. This 2026 is the 50th year anniversary of it becoming a national refuge. So it's a landmark, and it's an important date, and that's the reason why. If it ever becomes part of Puerto Rico, then it'll just disappear, and it'll just
okay.
be a KP4.
Wow, wow. That's terrific. That it sounded like so I was a little bit I wasn't thinking clear when I read everything. I was thinking there was either a couple of operators on the island or on a boat just off the island, like some of the rib in the box things were. But this is literally the stations on the island, and you guys are in Puerto Rico
Yeah,
connecting to them, right?
that's right. I'm at home. That was part of the goal, and we got there. I'll tell you a little background. We got there, we set it up, and then we left. And then our goal is to come back 30 days later and retrieve the equipment. So this is totally solar energy, no hands-on. If something, we built a system which has redundancy. So it's two antennas, two coax, two radios, two solar arrays, two chargers. So this is like three computers in there. So if anything breaks, we'll still be able to maintain our operation on the air. And that's the beauty about it. I mean, there's no noise, so it doesn't disturb the birds. We have a camera that we could look at it. We have a weather station there, so all the information it's coming, via internet, via Starlink, and then it also has a lot of information on our website, and we'll go through it. I'll show you. Actually,
Okay.
we'll make some cues right now live on your podcast.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
So if something would break on the island tomorrow, do you guys have permission to go back and repair the unit?
Yes, we have part of the agreement is that we're able to go back as an
Okay,
emergency trip. We
sure.
just have to tell them, and our boat charter, he's like not really on call, but maybe like a short notice,
Yeah,
and then they'll have to assign somebody from their staff to come with us. But we have the option of doing that if we need to.
yeah,
Wow.
good.
Wow. So I know that there was another press release or some emails went around where you kind of had to pause everything and take a look at restructuring the antennas or due to propagation in so many U.S. I mean, it's on our doorstep, so you would
Yep.
expect that to be a problem. But so what did y'all do there?
So what we did is before, we're testing the equipment. We had our deployment team gather in early, before Christmas, and we wanted to deploy the equipment in real time and set it up for a week just to test it. So KP4AA, he's our base down in Cabo Rojo, and then he has a lot nearby where we deploy the antennas and everything, and then we used KP4ES as a call sign. So the goal was that the DX community will try to find that call sign, and then we'll be able to learn from it, and then our signals will be very similar because you could literally it was 30 miles away from Desecheo. So you'd expect the same signal strength from that side will be the same from Desecheo. So it also helps the DX community to prepare for what was coming. And then we set it up for a week. There, a couple kinks we fixed. We added a little bit of extra solar power, things like that. And then we said, I remember having a meeting with on Christmas Eve, with the RHR team, Rock and Lee and Easy, HI3R, and it's like 4 p.m. local time, and then we're like, all right, guys, this thing is online. Do you see any deal breakers? And we went through our checklist. We're like, you know what? There's no really okay, so we're announcing it tonight. There's no
Wow,
turning back.
very
And
cool.
a couple hours later, boom, everything went off.
So how long did it take you to, well, number one, this rib in the box that you're using is a different concept than the other ones. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And how long did it take you and your team to actually build these units?
Yes, so the first one is basically AA7JSB and his team, but theirs is like a big. It's run on generators. It's got amplifier. It's like really big and really powerful. The next one was Greg's, and which is more like could carry it on as a carry-on. We
Yes.
brought his equipment onto Chile when we did our expedition, so we learned a lot from it. And then the next step would be our RDU, which is Easy's project. So basically, we learned a lot from it. but we needed to use like, he wanted to build it with like one radio, and we said, no, 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 you have to have at least two. If something breaks, you need redundancy. So kind of came up like that. So basically, it's two Pelican cases. One has the battery, so battery chargers, Wi-Fi controllers, computers, everything. And then the next one has the two radios with the Raspberry Pis for control and all those things. So he has everything. Everything's QR coded, and then he has a server at home. And the good thing about this unit is that we partner with Remote Ham Radio, and their console is web-based, so nobody needs special software to operate it. Everything's centralized. So we take, everybody operates on the same log, and from there it goes to club log, it goes to LOTW. So everything's is there's no way that, let's say, Joe goes in and he breaks something, and then Bill comes in and you break something else, that we have control over that, which is one of the things and recommendations that we got from Greg. Don't let the users play a lot, because they will play a lot,
Yeah.
especially, you want to tweak it to your way. So
Yeah.
that's why we've been able to keep it in the air. And it hasn't run free. I mean, we have, weather challenges. If it's cloudy, we might need to QRT for a little bit while we charge. It's not. I wish we could run it 24/7, but it's physically impossible. But our goal will be to have it in the air as much as we can.
Wow. It's great that you guys were working with Greg and with George. I mean,
Yeah.
I assumed with all the names I'd heard involved that you're all working together, but you never know. There could be some competitive stuff. So I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Well,
So
but also it's different. It's different places. For example, because Greg is very compact. You carry on a plane, and it's like an extra operator. A7GV's project, it's basically you're offshore checking it. You only go once a day to check it, and it serves a different purpose.
right.
I can't do this rib in Jarvis. Unless I go there and I come back. You have to be there because something. This one, it's 30 miles from my house.
Right.
From
Yeah.
where I live. So anything happens, I could just go and fix it.
So in each of these remote units, do you have amplifiers in them, or are you just pretty much
No,
running 100 watts?
hu-
Or
100 watt. But I'll tell you what. It's funny. I was talking with. We're running 25 watts.
okay,
So it's more of like a QRP expedition. We have about 18,000, 19,000, and we haven't really had to push more than 50 watts because basically, the world is doing the hard work, but we can only go to 100. But we have to balance. If we run 100 watts, then we have to, shut down a little bit early. So it's a balancing act. We're
yeah.
playing
Yeah.
with it.
So
Sure.
what radio is the heart of it? Is it
So
something that y'all designed, or
no, it's a Flex 6300s.
it is? Okay.
Yeah,
Flex.
very small, thin. So we're
Yep.
able to stack two of them. And then they fit in the case. And actually, we also have a system that's got a radiator, and it's a water cooling system. That it's the same stuff they use on gamers' computers to keep the system, cool. It has a
Cool.
radiator outside. It pumps the heat
Wow.
out, and we're able to control all that. So it's pretty cool
Holy
stuff.
smoke. So I don't know what it was. It just 6 years ago we tried to have a DX convention in this area, and
Oh
we
yeah.
reached out to Greg, and he and Hal Turley,
Uh-huh.
W8HC, actually drove up here from Atlanta with the original rig in the box.
Box.
In the
Yeah.
back, they rolled it in. They had never been used, but they rolled it. So we've always had kind of a kinship with those guys because they were willing to do that. And the whole concept, it just blew me away. It's like, oh my God, this is just amazing. And
Yeah.
it all
Yeah.
makes sense. It all
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, think about it. You have an extra operator that's fresh always because he's rested.
Yeah.
You don't have to feed him. You don't have to fly him anywhere. You don't have to give him a bed. So it brings your cost a lot down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Well, Joe is always, again, going back to things we like to share. He's always said um, the real challenge of a DXpedition is the last station's turned off, and now it's 102 degrees. You haven't slept for 17 days, and now you got to tear everything down and put it away.
that's
You're,
So
right.
in this
yeah,
case,
you're absolutely beat, and now we got to tear down and pack up and leave.
I can't imagine.
And it's hard to get that mental status to do that, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it
So
comes to a point in your expedition that you're struggling, you're not sleeping, you're hurting, and you're like, think to yourself, why do we do this again? And it's kind of like
Yeah.
and when I was freezing myself in that boat and rocking for weeks, I'm like, why do we do this again? It comes to your mind, but you just have to know how to manage that so you're
Yeah.
able to continue with it.
Yeah. Yeah. You think, this is really crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
the
do you
other
explain this to a regular human being? I mean, it's very
Yeah.
hard to explain. Yeah.
well, the other thing is it's not safe. It's not always safe, you know.
Oh no.
You take risks and things happen. So I
Yeah.
happened to check this afternoon, and it looked like you were approaching, I guess, 18 or 19,000 QSOs.
Yep.
So I got a hunt. You said on the website, I think the goal was about 100,000. I got a hunch you're going to hit that.
It's kind of hard. I don't think we're trying to run our numbers. I think that's very ambitious, but we have to aim high if we want to be able to get it. Our goal is to get, uniques. So we just came out today with a press release. We will have to set up a operating pattern so it's more predictable. We're trying to get a rate up. But I think if we make it to 70K, I think it'll be a good show.
Oh sure.
And
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
make we're gonna make a lot of people happy. So that's
Wow.
what we're aiming for. Yep.
That's really great. And the other good thing that and Don Greenbaum, N1DG, brought this up to us one time. He was talking about his relationship with Fish and Wildlife, and it's very much something you said earlier. It has really developed because he was willing to listen and try to understand their point of view, not just come charging in and say, "Well, I think it's stupid that I can't put an antenna on the beach and I can't." And he would listen and clearly you're doing the same thing. You've got a great relationship with those local people, and that's just terrific. Really great. So let's talk about 6 meters. You
Oh
guys
yeah,
made some
sure.
6 meter QSOs, right?
Yeah, we did. We have an alert system. So if KP4 gets any propagation, we'll get alerted, and of our teammates will immediately, go over to 6 meters and make Qs. So we did some LUs and PYs 2 days ago. Yesterday we worked a RIC HC1MD
Mhm.
on 6 meters. So that was the first HC to KP5 6 meter contact ever, I believe.
Yeah.
So basically, at this time of the year, at this time, in the evening, it favors north and south propagation. So South America is going to get a 6 meter blessing, but we're ready if it opens for anywhere else. We have a specific halo antenna on 6 just in there spare. So if it opens somewhere, text us, just let us know. We'll QSY right away and make it happen.
Okay,
Sure.
great.
That's the only band that I need Desecheo on, Otis, is 6 meters.
So you write my phone number, you text me if
Yeah.
the ban is open to Ohio, and I'll
Okay.
make that happen for you.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
then you buy me a beer at the DX banquet.
well he
I'll buy
runs
you, I'll
he
buy you a
runs
case of beer.
he runs 35,000 watts. Can he create his own propagation
Oh,
path or
absolutely, absolutely. We'll make it happen. You know,
So
the
I've
the
got
the
a
sky's gonna glow on the way down here.
I've got a question. So
Yeah.
we're on Desecheo. We got all this equipment set up. We got remote operators. Who is doing all the logging? How's that coordinated?
So it's being logged on RHR's system, first of all, and then from there it goes directly to Club Log. So you get, instant confirmation. And now the real treat is you also getting instant LOTW.
Yeah.
So everybody gets their QSO within the, 15, 20 minutes of making it. So
Yeah.
so
that's
Yeah.
let's
go
touch
ahead.
on the remote operators. You've got more than just the folks in Puerto Rico, right? You've got some folks all around the world that are operating remotely as
Yes,
if they're there, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
So it's the most of us are like East Coast USA, Puerto Rico time. So we have one guy in Texas area, and then N4GN who's NP4TT. He's in the Philippines. Then we have Lee VK3GK. I forgot his American call, and he's in Australia. And then we have a gentleman in Italy, IK0XBX, who's also K0XBX. So they're all US FCC license. That's part of the requisite to be able to operate remote in FCC jurisdiction.
Sure. Uh,
Wow. So my final question before you said you'd be willing to give us a demo. So my
Yeah. You're gonna have a we're gonna make cues right here on the air, just for you guys.
um what message do you want to get out? I'm pushing this out in the next day or so, and you
Okay.
still got 2 weeks. So what
Yes.
message do you want to get out to those folks that are tuning in to learn about Desecheo and maybe chase some DX?
Yes. So what I would tell them, you just be patient with us. We're 100 watts. We'll get to you. We want to work as many new people as we can, and those big DX guys searching for all the bands will get to you too. I hope this is not the end of Desecheo. I hope we can just show and we could come to an agreement and maybe do another one a couple of years or so. And then just to keep the relationship and also to let everybody know the importance of the conservation effort that's being on the island, that successfully they were able to eradicate, invasive species that us humans brought there at some point, and now we're able to preserve the species. So
Wow.
that's our goal. We're here for the long run, and Desecheo is I don't know, it's the easiest one because I could actually go to Desecheo and sleep on my same bed the same day, which is
Yeah.
compared to the long ones. So but we'll see where else we can take the units. I mean it's 340 entities out there.
Yeah, that's
Let's pick
right.
another one and make it happen.
Well, and this is one. So here's another. I guess I keep bringing these things up, but there's several things that Joe and I try to stress, and that is, if you're only mildly interested in DX, there are things like Desecheo and Bouvet and Peter the First. You got to try to work them now because there is
Yes.
no guarantee of sunspots. There's no guarantee that you're going to be able to get. So it's like if you're listening and you're even mildly interested, you need to try to work them
Yes.
because you
And
don't know when they're going to be there.
yeah, and I think K5D Desecheo was during low sunspot. They didn't have any like 10 or 12 meter contacts. We're doing 10 and 12 like all the time. We're spending a lot of time there because we know there's a need for it. And that's why we're pushing. So if you're not really happy that we're not going through all the bands, there's a reason behind it. And we just want to make sure that we supply that demand.
Well,
Just
go ahead, Joe.
one quick question. Well, Bill and I keep coming up with these quick questions, but
I'm here. I got all the time in the world, man.
but for our listeners, explain to them the live stream, how that works, because I bring that up every day, and I have the Club Log live stream on you guys, so I know where you're at constantly and who you're working and what band you're on. Go ahead.
Yes. So live stream is very good because back in the day, you'd make a queue on
There,
CW and you're not sure, and then you send your card and it's like months and you gotta, I'm not in the log. And you're like, that sucks. They
Yeah.
left Bouvet and I gotta wait 30 years. So
yep.
Club Log is really cool because Club Log, you can tell exactly if they got you right.
Yep.
So if let's say they miscopied you, you could send an email to the QSL manager. You could try to work them again. You could try to figure out before they go QRT, because once they go QRT, you're done. Now it also tells you what bands they're on and who are they working. So that's very good. So if they're working your buddies in Ohio, there's propagation to Ohio, so you might as well try it right now. And then it gives you a little map. So you know what? You want to? I could put it online and I could share it. And
Well, let me ask one other question, then
yeah,
we'll do that. I want to, so the folks on the podcast, one of the things I'm curious about is the actual connection between Puerto Rico and Desecheo. Because you are talking about 13 miles, so you can, I would think the curvature of the Earth comes in at some point. So is it some kind of a point to point, or how are you communicating reliably with the island and back?
so we're doing it via Starlink.
Oh,
That's what we're using now. Now
okay.
back at K5D, they had direct dish to the island. NP4 Zulu, he has a network and that's his business. So they were able to use a direct link. So that was, but now we're
Okay.
using Starlink, and Starlink worked there. We had a report from the director of the Fish and Wildlife Caribbean region, and she actually confirmed that their ranger was able to use Starlink via T-Mobile cell phone. So we knew there was going to be signal when we got there.
Okay. Well, if you run into problems, Joe's personal friends with Elon Musk. He can just call him and
Oh man, if you could just like give us more bandwidth at
Joe,
Desecheo, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
take care of that, will you, Joe? Well, I'll tell you
Give me Jake
what.
a call.
We're gonna he's on the phone now. We're gonna move to a little bit of a demo session.
Yes.
I will keep it on as part of the podcast, but if you want to get the best benefit, those of you that only listening on the podcast, jump over to the YouTube channel. I'm going to push them out at the same time, so you won't miss anything. But go ahead. It's
All
all
right.
yours.
So we'll share. Give me the permit here so I could share
Yep,
my screen.
you got it.
And I'm gonna start off with Joe's live stream stuff. So let me make sure we get the correct one. I'm trying to find. Hold on a second. Let me just double check I'm on the right screen here. And
This
I'll
is
give
awesome, man, Bill.
It is.
Yeah.
so interactive. We wanted to make it an interactive expedition. So here we go. Here's the screen. So this is what we're doing right now. There's actually 1,900 people watching this. And then what you see here on the right is where Desecheo is. These are the green dots where the people that we recently worked. And right now, as you see, we're doing a 20-meter CW. This is the most recent one, November 0 OK. And then the other cool thing here, you see our live log. So we just crossed 19,000 Qs. And then this dot tells you which frequency we're on. So you're able to know. We have our band plan, so you could always go to our band plan and know where we are. But also what we have that's really cool is our website. So I'll show you here what it looks like.
It's very well done.
Yes, so if
Yes.
you go, I appreciate it. Yes, thank you very much. So this is our website. Our main sponsor is Indexa and Northern Cal. So our total expedition cost, it's covered already. So we're not taking any donations. We don't need anybody else money. So we'll just give you free LOTW right away. And then Mañana DX, which is the foundation that's building up the ribs. And then first thing you see are social media feeds. So this is where you're gonna get all your information live. We have this cool video. This is from our camera. This records a video twice a day. This is
Oh,
our main vertical antenna that's looking east. Now we're going south, and that's our second antenna on the south west corner. And then the north west corner, which you're gonna see here. Oh, I think it goes down a little bit. Hold on. Nope, it went right through it. Sorry. Oh, there you go. So it goes down, and then this is where the actual rib unit is, and the solar panels. Okay,
Ah,
so we got two arrays running here. This here is a 6-meter antenna on the left side. Now we built this little house, and it's got the battery pack on the bottom, the first case, the radio on the top. This out here is the pump, the radiator, so it's constantly pumping liquid and doing the heat management.
wow.
And this is just a tarp to protect it from the sunshine that we have going on.
So what was this area previously? Maybe
This
the
is the
question, what
this
was Desecheo really used for? Or
so you was used for back in World War II as a bombing range. So we
oh,
had people from the U.S. military and allies. They trained here. So the island is closed. You have to take an explosive exam, and we're being supervised. There's life stuff are still around. So this area is the helipad that's on the west side of the island, and this is where we are. So I'll show you back. This is the little video. Here's the helipad
okay.
on the west, and we got here on the boat, and then from here we walked over and we set up camp on the helipad, which is
Wow.
the west side of the island. So it's open to US, and it's maybe a little bit blockage towards like Middle East a little bit if you go into to this way.
so is
So
this the side of the island right there? Is that where you're located?
yeah, so the helipad that you saw in the little video, that's where we are. So this is the
Okay.
same thing you're seeing here.
Okay. Yes.
It's the same thing. Okay. So this is looking south. This is west, south, and east is towards the mountain that you're going to see on the left. So it's pretty big helipad. I mean, it was used in
Yeah.
World War II. And then the other antenna, the vertical. So we're doing two verticals. I mean, I wish we could put a lot more antennas and hardware, but that's part of the limitation of the permit. So this is what we're able to do right now. So then the next thing is the some weather information. So we have forecasts. We could see the forecast for tomorrow. It's raining at our sun peak, so we might need to QRT at some point tomorrow. And then the cool part is the telemetry, which is really, really cool. You could see what our battery charge currently right now at 69%, what frequency we're on, and then you have information about the temperature inside, the humidity inside, the status of the radio, and things like that. So that's what makes it really cool. Now, but we also have another console that we use privately. I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek on it,
All right.
which is yeah. So here we got all the parameters of the telemetry data coming in and coming out. So it takes a little while to load, and then from here we can just give a second. So we can turn on the radios, turn the batteries. You have a
Mhm.
history of the solar charging. It was very good during the day, and then we got some clouds. That's why we had this little problem. The radio case, temperature, humidity control, battery case. So right now, what frequency we are on, what frequency we're listening on, but this is private, so and you're gonna record this. This is not live, so it's okay. And then we could see the power, and right now it's 50 watts. He's transmitting right now on 20 CW.
Huh.
So we have also the hold on. We have the radiator fan that's cooling the system, and then our second radiator down here. And then we know, how much battery charge we have, if it's charging, if it's discharging, all this very important information that we use to
Mm.
be able to manage the expedition. So that's a cool part.
Was
Uh,
that
Yeah,
written in Node-RED? Do you know?
I have no idea. You gotta ask HI3R. He's
I'm
the
just curious.
he's the brains behind it.
Yeah.
I'm not a techie guy. I'm more of a,
Boy, it's terrific.
organizational type of guy. Yeah.
That's
But
very
it's fine.
impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really impressive.
Yes.
and we were able to stream. So what he did, he's built a special. I'm gonna close this one. He built the entry level here. So operators, we can log in here, and you have access to other stuff going on. So if I log here, let me see if I can get this. I have a little. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so I should hold on. Yeah, so I have this little where we can directly access remotely the computer inside, and if we need to do any changes. If a Raspberry dies, we have another computer, we could still go into the system and operate it. And then I have my own little console where I keep track of, operators power. Let me see.
Yeah, and your call sign alone adds about 6 dB.
There you go.
No, I mean, just people actually focused and listening to you. And
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So we'll be yeah, so we'll do so this is kind of like where I keep track of the operators and make sure because we'll have an agreement that we'll sign, so but it's sometimes it's over 20 of us, so we have to make sure everybody's on their feet and we do some respect for the next operator and we're able to manage it that way.
So
Yeah.
Otis, with the two verticals that you've got set up on the island, you can work 6 meters to
Yes.
160?
Yes.
Really?
So
Okay.
I will show you. Can you see the console right now?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we have our KP4 Palmas, which is our regular remote ham radio station in Puerto Rico, and that's on their network, and you can access that if you're a member. So our first radio, which is KP5 number 1, 10, 15, 20, and 6 and 40, and then the antenna number 2, which is the big one, it can go 6, 12, 30, all the other bands, and then the halo is on the second coax of the second radio, so we can just single point to that one. So right now you have, he's working 20 meters, so that's why this one's in red. So you want to make some live on the air cues?
Go ahead.
Now, any of you worked those already or no?
I have, yeah.
And have you, Joe?
Yes. Oh yes.
Okay, so let's make a couple people happy. So we're gonna go to radio number 2, and then I'm gonna go to 30 meters. We should be open now. So let's see
Oh
what
yeah.
looks like. So I'm going to get rid of the sound. So 131, it's locked in there. First thing we do is we tune the antenna, make sure we're in right shape. So we're 25 watts. I'm going to go down to about 20 watts or so. And then we're on the right frequency. I'm going to hit enable and we're going to start the sequence. So you're going to check it out. It's pretty cool the way, signals come in. As soon as we make the first cue, it lights up on the live stream, and then you're going to see all this, people calling here
And
in
we're
just
still looking at the 14022 screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let
That's okay.
me
That's all
Yeah.
right.
stop share this and share it again. Okay, can you see it now?
Uh,
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so this is the console where we have RHR. You have this is not really a rotable antenna, but it can move a rotor. It could do everything. So we get some stations coming in. So KC1BB, you put him on the queue up here, and then we work them. So everybody's got their alerts. So as soon as we go CQ, everybody knows we're on the air. They just jump right in there. So I'm gonna do maybe 3 streams, and then 3 tries. Let's see what it looks like. So Joe, imagine yourself in Midway Island with all this. Hey, we have Radio 7 Lima Victor. That's kind of far,
Yeah.
so hopefully work him as well. And then let's see, we move this out of the way. So we're working these 2 guys, so it sends the signal 3 times.
Huh.
And we're transmitting. Okay, now we're listening. We got another guy calling in. Let's put him in the log. So we work KC1BB. He's worked already. Then we're working the Radio 7. and then the Alpha Bravo 6 BR, and KN7K is on the queue right now. And then if we go to club log, you go check it out on your end and see if it's showing 30 meters as being one frequency.
I can't bring mine up because I get an interference when I'm on Zoom.
Okay, so
But
I'll do it.
yeah, okay.
so
But
we're
I'm
getting a
familiar with
pileup
club.
going. Let's work a couple of these guys.
This is the first time, notice, that I have seen the Fox side of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
KC1BB.
Yep.
Yep, he's in the
Yeah.
log at
He's in the log. There you go.
5330. Yep.
So he's gonna get LOTW within 6 minutes. Every hour we upload to LOTW.
You know what I still do, and it's because it's funny you said earlier. The first Vietnam station I worked was a not in the log,
Okay.
and that drives you nuts. And so even now, like as soon as I appear in the club log live stream, I'll take a screenshot of it and just save it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I know I'm in there, but
Yes.
I'll wait till they get back. So
Yeah.
Yep.
And I
So
do my screenshots off of the FTH screen, but same thing.
yep.
Yeah. At least I know I got him.
Wow.
sometimes it's like, you know, the QSL managers, they know if you really work them or not, and they have a way to figure that out. But see this Radio 7, he's very weak. I don't think he's copying us very well. So he's calling again. So he's minus 18, which is very, very weak. So I'll try to work, you know, the loud guys first, make sure we can work people here, and you can see it happen. So AG7HY is worked. You're gonna see him in club log.
Yep,
And
he's
then
there. Yep.
Yep. So this is should be, you know, filling up pretty quickly now. So
Wow.
dilute. So now this can go up to like 5 streams. So, but the problem is, you know, we're running right now, we're working guys with 19 watts. Let's go to 15 watts. Let's see if we can still work them, you know. There you go, 14 watts. So, you know, as soon as they're done with these, so NA7 whiskey worked.
Yep.
Get another KF0 IQ. Let's work that guy. And you're working 3 stations at a time. So you're able to get a better rate. You're able to get it, you know, get it moving and hopefully make a lot more people happy.
Wow. Well, I could see where you could sit and operate on this for hours, and all of a sudden you
Yeah.
look up the clock and it's midnight, and
Yeah. And the cool thing, you know, we're sitting on our, oh, there you go. So it's got a little pileup coming up now. So I'm gonna go down to 2 streams because I'm getting some repeats. You just gotta make sure we have, you know, enough juice in there. Or we can always, you know, increase power a little bit if we need to. So here we keep our log. Everything is, you know, being logged right here. These are the actual units. And then you have full control of the flex radio here with everything, the wattage, filters, you know, everything that you could do. You could do code right here on the console. The RCW ops are working right here. When you do phone, you're basically logging them here as well.
oh,
So
Oh,
everything's centralized. Nobody is using outside software and none of that stuff.
and I could be doing this just as easily here as you are there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah.
anybody, you know, we have ops in Australia, and this is what he does when he's on his shift. You know, he goes on here, logs into the console. Then we're able to track, you know, who's operating at which time, you know, what frequency they're on. We're able to track all that. So we're able to make sure that we keep compliant with, you know, FCC rules and things like that.
Wow. I'm pulling for this R7. He's hanging in there, but he's not made it yet.
Who? One of your buddies?
No, just that R7. I mean,
Oh,
R7LV.
you know
yeah,
what? If I want to work him, I gotta go like single stream for him. So he's
yeah.
hanging in there. Let's do it. Let me get rid of these guys first. And we'll single stream just for him. See, Pilup's getting bigger now, so I gotta work him now or I will never work him.
Yeah. Make his day.
Yeah, let's do that. So,
Yes, sir.
so cross that, cross that. Okay, and now he's gonna be the next one. See, Pilup's booming already, so we're done.
Wow.
I gotta make R7LV happy guy. And I'm gonna pump a few more Qs his way. So let's double up on power. 40 watts. Hopefully that will make it.
Well, you guys sure had good signals
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
for low power.
Yes,
Yes.
it's been fun. Well, we're using verticals right on the water, so I mean that's a superb antenna for DX. It's working great. Okay, let's see if we can complete it with him. Come on, R7LV. Rooting for you, man. You know what? Let me just do a little.
We like to make
Uh,
your beer.
I'll
He
give
might
him
send
a.
us a
I
fifth of
don't
vodka.
I'll
know.
give him 50 watts just for him. I'll give him
Yeah.
4 tries. Let's see if it happens. He's got 2 already. He's not returning. So here we go.
Huh.
Wow, very interesting.
This is the first time we've ever been on the air
There
on a
you go. On
podcast.
the podcast. There you go.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, this is a first.
Wow.
So he's trying to. Well, I'll give him one more shot because he's very, very weak. See, compare now you got all the North America people here with much stronger signals, so I don't think
Yeah,
we'll be able
yeah,
to
sure.
complete.
Dang.
Sorry,
Well,
dude. He's got to watch your podcast and then we'll do another one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this is the last call. And what I'm going to show you is, yeah, we did not complete with him. So I'm going to pick a couple like strong people here, and then we're going to do multi-stream. So we'll work them a little bit faster.
Oh.
So we'll work a bunch of guys. Let's see. So we'll go multi-stream. 4 guys at a time. Let's try that.
Mm.
And I'm going to turn power down a little bit. I just want to show you the demo. So our 7LV, we're not going to complete. So he's going to be wiped out. And then we're going
Yeah.
to work the next 4 guys. So we're calling these 4 people at the same time.
I see this all the time on our end,
Yep.
but never on this end.
Yep. So
Yep.
Yeah, this is.
we just send the 4 streams. And I'm doing 50 watts. So I'm going a little bit over our limit. But just for the demo. And then I'll bring it down. And then we're waiting. So we got 2 of them already in the log. And then we're waiting on these 2 guys and we're
Yep.
working the 2 next one.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a.
So let's get a
And
couple stronger people in here.
see N0AT and KF0IQ.
So those 2 are happy campers now.
Yep.
And then
So on the Fox end, you click on the ones that you want to operate, correct?
yes, the ones I want to contact. So usually we want to pick the stronger guys because you just want to work them faster.
Yes, sure.
Same as regular, when you're doing code or something, you gotta
Yeah.
work the loud people first.
Yeah.
And then you start working once you get the big guns out of the way, then you work the little guys.
Okay. So you're choosing them rather than it choosing
Yes.
them.
No, I am choosing. I'm
program.
physically clicking on each of them. Yep. So KQ9H is in the log, KW6E is in the log,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then we're working the rest of the people.
Wow.
So those guys are happy.
Oh yeah, and they get so we
Yeah,
got
believe me.
B4YA. He's pretty strong. Let's work him.
Well, you think back to the days with insurance contacts and all the stuff we used to have to do to make sure we're in the
Yeah.
log. And
Oh yeah, none of that stuff anymore.
And I come from the old school. Hell, we did it on paper logs.
yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
But we wanted to, typically, an expedition, they're usually very expensive, and this one is our total budget's it's nothing, and we're covered by the 2 grand. So that's what we chose. We're not gonna take any donations. We don't need any of that. We'll just make people happy and give him LOTW right away. I mean, I think that's a good way to start the new year.
wow.
So Otis, how long
Yeah.
did it take you and the team to develop this whole system?
So RHR, I'm gonna hold on. I'm just gonna finish these guys. I'm not gonna put anybody else. Also, so RHR, they've been working on this, but I approached them at Dayton last year, and I had a beer with Rock, and I said, "Can you do MSHV type of Foxhound on the console?" And he said, "Why?" And I said, "I'm working on a project. I can't tell you, but can you work on it?" And he said, "Yes, I can."
Yes.
And he tested at their Haiti station, and there's a couple kinks, and it's an ongoing process. So that was the console part, and then Easy's been working on this project for probably about a year and a half till we got it to the way that it was good enough for deployment.
Yes.
So I'd say probably a year and a half, and then initial contact with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, I'd say 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So probably the whole project, it's 2.5 years in the
Was
process. So
Susan your contact at Fish and Wildlife?
no, she retired. She's not there anymore.
Okay. Because
So
I try to go there. My folder says in '08,
okay,
my wife and I flew to Puerto Rico and met with her. Okay.
okay. In 2008, you mean?
It didn't work out too good for us.
No, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, that I think K5D at the time, I mean, back then, I think it was like ranked number 6 most wanted. So,
Yeah.
so they were like, we're gonna get this one on the air and we're gonna, kill it. And they
Yeah.
did. They did over 100 Qs without FT8, without, so that
Yes.
was that was fantastic.
Yes.
You
But
know what I'll tell you what I remember about that though. On sideband, they had like 20 and 25 KC wide, um, listening up
pileups, yeah.
5 to 25. And it's like
Yeah.
it was just
Ridiculous.
yeah, it was a madhouse, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it sure was.
So
But
they
on the
they so we started working, and our approach to when we talked to her, and this lady, I mean, she when I had her meeting, she knew about DXCC, she knew the ranking. I mean, she did her homework.
oh
And
right.
then we basically said, let's what can we do something that will be compliant to your terms and that it could let us do our thing, and that's why we ended up with the remote option. So
Yeah.
Wow.
and I'll tell you a story. Back probably 4 years ago, 2022. I was a Dayton, and Bob Alfin was there, and he was already, probably a year or two before he passed away. And I sat down with him and I told him, I've been corresponding with him. He was trying to like help me with thinking about doing Desecheo again. And then he said, you know, do you have the remote card on your deck? But if you have to play it, then you play that card. And this is the card that we had to play here. So we're able to make this happen because of the technology that we have available.
Mm.
So last call for KP4 OMR. I'm sorry, 2 tries didn't work, so I'm gonna stop
Yeah.
the transmit.
You know, what, I'll tell you what is just keeps running through my head
Yeah.
is I know that there are some people that aren't thrilled with FT8. Okay.
Okay.
We get that. And there weren't people that were thrilled with sideband that were AM. My father was one of those. And yet when you look at FT8 and you had a Nobel Prize laureate kind of guy who developed it and the leading edge technology, and then you take that and you look what you guys are doing and what George did and all this remote. I mean, it is just amazing technology. And I get frustrated when people just minimize all of it. It's like, no, there's so much behind it and there's so much involved in it. And this stuff's, it's not bulletproof, but it's dang near bulletproof,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the amount of time you spend refining it. And you can even take that to Club Log
Yeah.
and my DX suite, I mean, all these different tools that we have that are so well written and so well refined. And I wish people would appreciate them a little bit more, I guess,
Yeah.
is what I'm
Yeah.
whining about.
Well, no, but you remember when I was, new ham, and part of their hobby is to develop things and bring technology. And you have the brightest mind in the world in ham radio operators. I
Yes.
mean, you have people from all fields of the world. We just take what we're good at and then we make and implement technology to make it enjoyable for everybody. So
Wow.
imagine now, you have a little guy with a little 20 watts little wire antenna somewhere in Ohio, and he's able to work Desecheo, which, K5D, he would not have been able to work it.
No,
Yeah.
you're 100% right.
Unless he go to Joe's house and crank up his
Wow.
amplifiers, and then
Yeah.
then he'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got one amplifier that he calls his exciter, and then it drives the final
He drives the real
amplifier.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty impressive.
yeah.
Joe,
QRO Joe. We gotta call him QRO Joe now from now on.
did I leave anything out, Joe?
No, this is just outstanding. High tech,
Absolutely.
really, really high tech stuff that you guys are all doing, Otis, and God bless all of you for doing it. And be sure and thank every one of your teammates for
Yes.
doing this because it's just unbelievable. I'm an old farm boy and I'm just overwhelmed.
Yeah, this is some
Yeah.
real cool stuff, and then we'll see. This is just the beginning. I mean, if we're able to, God knows what we'll be doing in 10 years, in 20
Yeah.
years. I mean, by
Yeah.
then we'll probably be doing cues from
Yes.
from our whatever.
And
but it's a good thing, we're using technology and we're making cues, and that's the most important part.
thank God you guys had the ambition and the know-how to put this together.
Yeah.
Because for all of us DXers, we're waiting on these opportunities to work new countries all the time. And if it wasn't for guys like you and you're going to Beauvais, same thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. That's right.
You'll make
That's
a
right.
lot of people happy.
The only
That's right.
the only disappointment I've heard all night is Joe's wife was going to make a $5,000 donation to the DXpedition, but
Okay.
you said it's all covered, so she doesn't need to do that.
No, but here's what if you want to donate, now here as a caveat, there's always good use for that money. So you could either join and support Indexa, which is my association,
Yeah,
or Northern Cal.
and we're
That's totally
members of
fine.
both. Yep.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
we are.
also, and I'm going to show you the Mañana DX Foundation, which is where you could actually let me just share you the screen again, and you can make a donation directly to him, to his process. So you're seeing the screen. I'm gonna go to their website, mañanadx.org, and just show you a little bit of the stuff that he's building. And then if you want to make a donation, there's a little button right here, a little heart. You can click on it, and you'll be able to donate through PayPal. Now, eventually,
Wow.
what we want to do is, as you have here, this is some of the this is our Chile expedition. This is what we're doing now, and this is the currently deployed RDU unit. So maybe in a couple of years, we'll probably have 3 or 4 of these all over the world. You could track them all on this website
Yeah.
with all the telemetry that's going on. So you could have
Yeah.
you could have 2 or 3 of these at the same time. A couple different DXCC entities, and everything's right here on the website.
Wow. I spent a little bit of time doing the WWA that's going on
Yep.
right now, and that website is fascinating. It is all real time updating, and so there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. A lot of good stuff. Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. We had a couple restarts, and you've been
Yeah.
patient and been willing to work with us. And I get that index and newsletter. And there you are, right on the front.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
I'm gonna need you guys on 60 meters whenever. I'm a 60-meter guy, Otis.
So 60, we operated 2 nights ago. We're probably gonna do that more towards the end if we need to get some rating stuff.
Yeah.
Just watch the club log, and if you got my email, or
Yeah.
and
But
then
Don knows to get on 60 meters for us.
there you go. So Don is your contact. He'll
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and
Yeah. He knows. Yeah.
he'll make it happen. And
Yeah.
and it's a good we want to make sure we keep a lot of people happy, and I mean, ham radio is about having fun, and we're having a lot of fun right now, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. And if you're not having fun, you've got to find yourself another hobby.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because I watched that club log, that stream,
right.
live stream.
That's better than Netflix right now. Watching a DXpedition real time, live, interactive.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
unbelievable.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and I look forward to meeting you at Dayton. And I'm sure I'll talk to you before then. And
Absolutely.
and when I get this out in the next couple of days, I'll WhatsApp you so you know what's going on, and we'll try to keep the interest up. We'll do what we can do.
That's right.
Yes,
We'll put a link to your podcast on our Facebook feed, and we'll make sure a lot of people get to know about it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you
appreciate
so
the invite,
much.
Joe, Bill. Thank you. It's been
Thank
great.
you, sir.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Joe and I really enjoyed meeting Otis and seeing what he was up to. I hope you did as well. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the DX Mentor. If you're enjoying these DX Mentor episodes, please hit the subscribe button. I would like to thank our sponsors, ICOM America, the Daily DX, and DX Engineering, as well as the Southwest Ohio DX Association. You won't find anyone more committed to DX than these sponsors. I would, of course, like to thank my guests today, Otis, Nancy Papa 4 Golf, and Joe, W8GEX. I would love to have your feedback, answer your questions, and provide help with any DX or amateur radio related issues that you may have. If you need clarification on something or you just have a question, email me at thedxmentor@gmail.com. I would especially like to thank you, our listeners and viewers. Without you, there would be no reason to do this. Please drop me a note if you've achieved an all-time new one, received recognition, or have a DX event that you would like us to mention. We would be happy to do that. 7-3 for this episode. Thanks to my XYL Karen for her love and support. I hope to see you in the pile-ups, and I hope you get KP5 in the log.